Welcome everyone to the latest update of IT and mostly security news here, the state of 2020. Starting with, we made some progress. Surprisingly, little people were interested in my morning stream of video core stuff here on the FPGA. Latest update, pixel perfect, all the latest and last off by one glitches gone, so nothing like Intel's CPU bugs or some glitchiness of, yeah, it's perfect now, at least, well, the video output. Anyway, I have this impression that most people are here for the security update, so probably it's time to get started with this. Speaking about Intel glitches, how did I expect that? What would 2020 be without some new Intel data leak and CPU stuff? Intel Cacheout, also here 2020 or 2019, 2016, 17, whatever, no major security flaw without a proper website logo. Cacheout, funny name, you name it, leaking data on Intel CPUs via cache evictions. They present their Cacheout, a new speculative execution attack that is capable of leaking data from Intel CPUs. Not a surprise anymore, but yeah, show that despite Intel's attempts to address previous generations of speculative execution attacks, CPUs are still vulnerable. Attackers, allowing attackers to exploit those vulnerabilities and leak sensitive data. Moreover, unlike previous MDS issues, they show that their work, how an attacker can exploit the CPU caching mechanism to select what data to leak as opposed to waiting for the data to be available. Finally, they empirically demonstrate that Cacheout can violate nearly every hardware-based security domain, leaking data from the OS level, co-resident virtual machines, and even SGX exclaves. Yeah, I guess I need to, actually, did I already, wait a second, did I not? Oh no, maybe I didn't. I need to double and triple facepalm. Anyway, you really wonder what, well, if our unsuccessful one-man FPGA Linux distribution and FPGA core stuff is glitchy, which, hey, we fixed all the off-by-one glitches by now. But if Intel, with 40 years of industry expertise, I don't know what they've been doing. Also, unlike, yeah, I'm wondering whether they knew about this the last years to have the performance advantage over AMD, or this is pure chance, but whatever. Anyway, in similar news, Intel is patching its Zombieload CPU security flaw for the third time. So yeah, not only the new flaw, also the old flaws were not fully fixed because off by one a little bit, just like we do. Security researchers say the company needs to change its approach as well. Also, yeah, I called this out before of this not allowing like NDA and so on. For the third time in less than a year, Intel has disclosed a new set of vulnerabilities related to the speculative functionality of its processors. On Monday, the company said it will issue a software update in the coming weeks that will fix two more micro-architectural data sampling MDS or Zombieload flaws. The latest update come after the company released two separate patches in May and November last year. Compared to MDS flaw, Intel addressed those previous patches, yada yada, and so over. However, like when the company issued the second MDS patch in November, security research criticized Intel for its piecemeal approach. They spent months trying to convince Intel that leaks from L1D eviction were level 1 data cache or something, I guess, were possible and needs to be addressed. And yeah, it's the usual, yeah, nothing to see, just carry on. Like at Apple, a very small, limited quantity of batteries, aka all batteries, or similar stuff. They, wait a second, Flaw wrote in there something in the dim of the original paper. There's a sense, they reiterate, wonder if in an addendum on the original paper there is a sense of separation with the company, we reiterate that RIDL class vulnerabilities are non-trivial to fix and mitigate, and currently spot mitigations strategies for resolving this issue are questionable, the researchers wrote. So yeah, also this is also my recurring theme with graphic stuff being so hidden. I mentioned this before, that certainly this should be more documented, more specs available. Of course, AMD and Intel have some specs available, but of course, the recurring shout out here of NVIDIA not having specs. And I wonder how many vulnerabilities are lurking there in this NVIDIA silicon. And yeah, until people take a closer look, and I wonder what the future will bring there in this regard. I already called multiple times here for the design of GPUs in entirely more flexible, like more cell, yeah, a nod to the PS3 fans here in the audience. The cell certainly maybe ahead of its time, and certainly I wish more flexible, more regular programmable GPU structure, not only for open source drivers, but maybe in general for the future of massive parallel computing here. In similar news, there might be more positive news on the AMD side. There might be an RDNA 2 refresh. I was actually considering ordering a GPU sometime soon, rocking some relatively underpowered stuff, because usually I don't need more on my workstation, but probably I delay my ordering. It's not good for AMD that anyway. So shout out here, apparently maybe Navia Refresh and RDNA 2, both in 2020 according to AMD. So maybe I actually delay this a little bit, time will show. But anyway, so as part of their earning call, AMD CEO Lisa Su said, had a few words of the future GPU plans. Of course, yes, NVIDIA fanboys not the most impressed. We, of course, here on this and the main channel here, much prefer AMD performance, even of totally underpowered stuff. Enough for us anyway, but even if you need more power, we can only recommend here AMD for their, at least somewhat, not totally, but mostly, for certainly more than NVIDIA open part of register level specification. And as you know, we love bits and register level specification and programming here on these channels. In similar major news, at Apple's side, the security content of macOS Catalina 10.15.3 security update is a little bit of the mixtape of all the best security vulnerabilities. So annotation kit, you also wonder in what of everything there are security vulnerabilities in 2020. Impact: remote attacker may be able to cause unexpected application termination or arbitrary code execution. Also, yeah, thank you very much for forcing developers to app notarization, garbage, and sandboxing and all the major security vulnerabilities are in your OS anyway. So much to this snake oil shout out here today. Out of bounds also, yeah, secure recurring shout out, secure programming language for 100, probably not C and C++. And out of bounds, just like in the Linux kernel, read was addressed with improved input validation, so CVE 2020-3877. Apache mod PHP, we are shipping open source, but I mean, unfortunately, this is alphabetically sorted. So yeah, audio, impact, and application may be able to execute through the audio, right? Execute arbitrary code for system privileges, remote. A memory corruption issue was addressed with improved memory handling. Their Vulkan team, whatever. AutoFS, impact searching for and opening files from an attacker controlled NFS. So yeah, NFS mounted may anyway bypass gatekeeper, but yeah, probably not the most attack surface. However, Bluetooth, remote attacker may be able to cause unexpected application termination. Somehow I see a pattern here, right? Or arbitrary code execution. Memory corruption issue was addressed with input validation. So yeah, core Bluetooth, remote attacker may be able to leak memory, and out of bounds read was addressed. Crash reporter also here in 2020 application, so malicious application may be able to access restricted files through the freaking crash reporter. I can't even really make this up. It's hilarious. Not even, it's like input validation in the crash reporter. Validating issue exists in the handling of symlinks. Issue may be addressed with improved validation of symlinks. Was it crash report? Yeah. Image processing, not a new thing, but maybe also 2020 image codecs not to be written in C or other unsafe languages, like viewing a malicious crafted JPEG file may lead to arbitrary code execution. This is so 1990. But yeah. Image I/O processing a crafted image may lead to arbitrary code execution. Intel graphics driver of all means an application may be able to execute arbitrary code with system privileges. Memory corruption issue was addressed with improved memory. Accelerator family may execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges. Amazing stuff. IPsec kernel in an application may be able to read restricted kernel memory. A validation issue was addressed with improved input sanitization. Yeah, so many more to come. More kernel application may be able to read restricted memory. Same here, malicious application may be able to execute arbitrary code. Yeah, and Apple forces us to notarize, so an amazing notarization of Apple, who are at the forefront of monolithic, barely microkernel Mhath dispatch, but otherwise one huge GNU BSD like kernel there for all the one address space. Rule them all. An application may be able to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges through a memory corruption issue. And so yeah, libxml of all, but this is also but even package-kit and a malicious application may be able to override arbitrary files. So yeah, for what do we even sandboxing and notarization, snake oil of sudo obviously, but otherwise Wi-Fi. An application may be able to slightly wonder how via Wi-Fi they I wonder if this is remote Wi-Fi, but it sounds like an application may be able to read restricted memory, so wonder slightly what's going on there with that. But in any case, just the regular state of operating system security. Speaking about Apple stuff, here's some tweet that came to my attention that there is no way of also Apple giving you the choice, of course not, and then you can't even on iOS specify which default RSS reader to use now. Apparently, thanks to the Apple News stuff that is hardwired to Apple News, can't even make this stuff up. Also, why I'm personally not very much into this iOS anymore. Switching back to Linux here on T2 Linux desktop with this amazing Ryzen build, I'm like totally flexible, feeling so free, no limitations of what I can run and use and install and tinker and whatever. Speaking about tinkering, Huawei denies German reports. Apparently there was some German report of course intelligence services or something colluded with Chinese intelligence. Here Berlin, Reuters, Huawei apparently leading maker of whatever. So the Handelsblatt here wrote an article repeats old and okay, they say it repeats old and unfounded allegations, but they wrote apparently citing confidential foreign ministry documents that, well, I mean, whatever. But I said this before, I mean, certainly, I mean, in my opinion, this is hilarious. You cannot, you cannot believe that the Chinese government is not acquiring the data they need with Huawei. However, on the other hand, you have the same on the US side or any other company. In my opinion, completely shameful. We cannot, well, first of all, this shouldn't happen with American companies, and it does, according to many news articles, Snowden papers and other whistleblowers and stuff. And then you can't play this double standard card here on Chinese stuff. So in my opinion, this is hilarious. It's a complete joke. It's completely unbelievable. But on the other hand, the other side is not better. But leave in the comments below. Probably this triggers against some people, but that's what we are here for. Speaking about American amazingness, the F-35 gun that can't shoot straight to its rooster of flaws. The annual Pentagon testing report apparently also found 873 software issues in F-35 Fighter jets here apparently, so much to software and security stuff in 2020, and yeah, software in fighter jets and Boeing and other self-driving cars. So 428 billion spent, including more than 800 software flaws. Yeah, apparently has unacceptable accuracy in hitting ground targets, and however, on top of 800 something. So they are apparently fixed. So so the good news is it's down from 917 issues to just 800 or something. And if you were wondering if commercial software in military and other stuff is any better, and then trusting the government, asking for crypto backdoors, right? Because they probably have 800 bucks and can totally be trusted. Certainly not there in that news. As we see here, also Security 2020 leaked report shows United Nations suffered hack in Geneva here of sophisticated hackers infiltrated UN networks in Geneva and Vienna last year in an apparent espionage operation. The top officials at the world's body kept largely quiet. That's why we need to give it a shout out here now. The hackers' identity and the extent of the data they obtained are not known. But yeah, this is also why I'm calling here for more secure software. Other software certainly, other than C and C++, certainly we cannot continue monolithic kernels, one address based, not even in network appliances, and certainly not one address based to rule them all, not C with manual pointer stuff, because even at Apple, even at Microsoft, even at the NSA, stuff goes south. And even if you more test and fuss and unit test, and people always find some flaws, because we are all humans after all, so we certainly need to ramp this up. This is recurring theme here, maybe getting a little bit tiresome and repetitive, but that's what it is. Google has paid security researchers, so how many flaws are also in Google services and stuff. Google has paid security research over 21 million in bug bounties, so not only also going up here excessively, so not only is this costing lives and in safe driving cars and military stuff, but also money. And so certainly money well spent on security, but certainly this also means you need to spend money on your product development, get stuff secure. And how many bugs, or how this trend is just going. Also bloatware stuff getting more complex. Huge shout out here usually for keeping stuff stupid simple, and already avoiding quite some bugs and trusted compute code base and so on. Speaking about trusted code base and Google and stuff, apparently is some upcoming new Android Flash tool that I spotted the other day due to some tip here, and I slightly wonder, so apparently some web flashing stuff is coming, which in my opinion is kind of hilarious 2020, because yeah, you want some web flashing for your Android stuff, right? So allows you to flash Android build to your devices. Usually for developers or testing to get started, you need a developer machine and so on. So apparently you can now browser, any browser supporting WebUSB such as Chrome or Edge 17 and Plus. So yeah, although it sounds like this is, some people made it sound like this is flashing from your phone, but no, you see, it needs WebUSB. So this sounds to me like flashing. You still need to unlock, bootloader unlock and stuff. Your Android phone, this is only for flashing from Windows, for accessing USB. But in general, the whole point of WebUSB, I'm not really signed up for that. Leave me in the comments below what you think, but this is exactly this kind of bugs waiting to happen. And I mean, this WebUSB, you need this for nearly nothing. For what do you want for a normal user? Access USB stuff while browsing, online banking, YouTube here on this channel, or other online order stuff. And it's hilarious. This is exactly this kind of stuff that should not be in your browser together with all the other 100 over bloated things. But yeah. After machine learning in 2020 comes machine unlearning. Apparently here researchers have a new paper from Cornell University, that once users share their data online, generally difficult to revoke the access and ask for the data to be deleted. Machine learning exacerbates this problem because any model trained with said data may have memorized and putting users at risk of successful privacy attack exposing their information. This is also interesting in an additional way, in my opinion. So first of all, we have the problem with machine learning that you cannot really easily debug this, right? So you learn this like road data, street signs, a self-driving car or any other kind of machine learning stuff, and you can't debug this, right? You can only change your training set and retrain it or additionally train it and hope that some behavior goes away. But in general, you can also not debug this, right? You trained your neural network or other surrounding machine learning functionality, and then you have the self-driving car driving into a wall or not recognizing a street sign, and you cannot just like debug it. You can only, you cannot like single step or printf or remote debug attach there and poke around there in your memory. Well, you can poke around in memory, it doesn't give you much information. So we're getting increasingly in a non-deterministic, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, the machine learning has done something state. And this is also the same here with unlearning, right? So if your virtual machine learns something, it's kind of not easy to unlearn it unless you totally reset it, or it's just like unlearning it with putting additional data into the training set. Like this is like if a stop sign is recognized as another street sign, and you can like not unlearn this, unlike just adding additional data to the training set and training it and hoping, or like adding a false positive to the training set and training it until it goes away, but it doesn't mean this behavior, it doesn't exist anymore. It can be with just a tiny little bit angle, just a little bit tree coverage, the same behavior will occur again. So unlearning in general, reproducibility and yeah, unlearning then in general, major things. So I certainly, with all the hype of machine learning, not only do I not see machine learning as, well, certainly for some stuff in the future, but not the greatest hype as most business vapover speech makes it to be. And then learning and unlearning and reproducibility, certainly huge challenges to come there. Welcome, and everyone in the audience. Hope you're doing fine. Nice to see you all back there. And in similar amazing cloud and machine learning stuff, Ring Doorbell app packed with third-party trackers. I think, by the way, I thought I had another. Anyway, so Ring isn't just a product that allows users to surveil their neighbors, but the company also uses it to surveil its customers. So an investigation of the EFF and the Ring Doorbell app for Android found it to be packed with third-party trackers, sending out plethora of users' personal identification information. 4 main analysis and marketing companies were discovered. Also, yeah, 2020 is your app for your product. Actually, I wonder if you need to buy this. Actually, probably should do even more research, but leave in the comments below if you need to buy this product. If you buy this product for good money and then are still being surveilled. But yeah, the danger of sending even the small bit of information, this tracker companies is able to combine with those bits together a unique picture of the user's device. Yeah, no surprise there probably for you. In general, really disgusting behavior. I probably should quickly Google here's Ring Doorbell price. Do you even need to spend money for? Yeah, apparently. So it looks like you need to pay money according to this quick news, quick search anyway, and then you're getting surveilled. Fine, well done. LabCorp Security Labs exposed thousands of medical documents, apparently new. We had this already multiple times, so this security issue not only for you and me and some small stuff whatsoever, but recurring theme here, of course, medical stuff. So we have this already at least the third time, at least that I remember from the top of my head here on this channel. Security flaw in LabCorp's website exposed thousands of medical documents like test results containing sensitive health data. It's the second incident in the past year after LabCorp. Also, yeah, it's for this I really need a double facepalm ASAP, because apparently, according to this article here allegedly said in June that 7.7 million patient data, not sure if we covered this here, maybe not, it's however likely though, has been affected by a credit card data breach of a third-party payment processor. That breach also hit several other laboratory testing companies, including Quest Diagnostics. The latest security lapse was caused by a vulnerability on part of LabCorp's website, understood to host the company's internal customer relationship management system. Although their system appeared to be protected with a passport, the part of the website design to pull the patient files from the backend was left exposed. Unprotected web address was visible to search engines and was later cached by Google. So yeah, amazing achievement unlocked there, making it accessible to anyone who knew where to look, like Google. The cached results only return one document, a document containing patient health information, but changing and incrementing the document count and the web address made it possible to access other documents. So yeah, 2020, and why we need to take finally security certainly more seriously. In similar news, Motorola, we had this Samsung Fold, now Motorola Razr folding screen, bumps and lumps are normal. It's like, seriously, what? On an overpriced luxury part. 2020, tempered Korea, whatever other marketing glass stuff was yesteryear, now is OLED, flexible OLED future that gets bumps and what was it? Bumps and lumps. And available on pre-sale for $14.99 exclusively on wherever, not in my area anyway. Set would begin shipping, but already backed up to 14th, whatever, yada yada. Screen is made to bend, bumps and lumps are normal. It's like, if you were wondering, that is a good idea. But because it's plastic material, so we are back to the future, back to Nokia 3310 or whatever that was, because it was plastic material. Although, on the other hand, at least this Nokia brick you could drop like 1,000 times without breaking. So this new stuff here, of course, live on this channel, of course, yeah, at least can we also unfold this. Yeah, modern future breaks, but yeah, now also bumps and lumps are normal. Welcome to 2020. In similar news, a better outlook here for Scotland is on track of hitting 100% renewable energy. So yeah, so much to, I think we have Fridays for Future, right? Or something of that sort. At least there's some hope for some people. Also, maybe the unbrexit, the Brexit or something, joining back in the EU or something. That hope maybe. But so yeah, it is possible. Apparently, also maybe this is marketing speech. I have no idea. Allegedly, anyway. So environmental organization Scottish Renewables put together a report tracking the country's renewable progress. Shows that Scotland's renewable provided 76% of the electricity consumption based on the 2018 start data of the report and the percentage yada yada. So yeah, at least there is some hope, of course, with Australia on fire and apparently other regions of the world constantly and repeatedly. Yeah, there is hope, a small glimpse, not the most, but a little bit here for a better environmental outlook. As usual, I hope you learned something and enjoy our Pixel Perfect FPGA goodness here. As usual, leave me in the comments below what you think of any of this sort. If you have more news, FPGA stuff or bits and pieces, what you want to see, other more amazing stuff, PS3, SGA to come soon again as well. With that, I need to get out of here. It's late. I have some Star Trek Picard to watch. See you soon then sometime, and thanks for watching, and yeah, have a great weekend until the next video.